This 2-minute teacher's guide starts now. Students and variables. In our video titled, What are Variables?, we left you with this definition. Variables are symbols that represent unknown or varying mathematical objects. Now we're going to discuss some student stumbles that are likely to occur as students work with variables. But first, donuts. An example about donuts, that is. Harvey's Donut Shop sells 6 donuts in one box. How do you think students would represent this situation algebraically? They will often write 6D equals B. This is not correct though, because this equation implies that only 5 donuts would be in 30 boxes. So if this isn't correct, why do students come up with it at all? The short answer is, students are thinking of D and B as labels, not variables. They're imagining this. This makes sense because when we say things like 100 centimeters are equal to 1 meter, we write it like this. Here, cm and m are labels, not variables. Students are bringing the same idea to the donut shop, where it doesn't belong. In the donut example, D should represent the number of donuts, and B should represent the number of boxes. So students should produce an equation that is equivalent to this. So how do we help students get here? Strategy 1. Have students talk through the scenario in as many different ways as possible. They might say things like, 6 donuts come in a box. 1 box has 6 donuts, so 2 boxes have 12 donuts. 3 donuts would only be a half a box. For every 6 donuts, I fill 1 box. 10 boxes is 60 donuts. Let them play around with it and maybe even create a table to keep track. Then, as they create their algebraic equations, they can go back to the various phrasings and check if their equations are consistent with them. Strategy 2. Don't use D and B for donuts and boxes. Why, you ask? Because learning experiments have shown that using the initials tends to perpetuate students' misuse of variables as labels. This is because it matches our speech rather than the mathematical structure. Think about it. 6 donuts equals a box. If I were shortening this linguistically, I could just say 6D equals B, but that doesn't have the right mathematical meaning. If instead we ask students to use random letters like M for the number of donuts and Q for the number of boxes, then students are less likely to simply draw on the words, and instead they will concentrate on the quantities as intended. 6M equals Q doesn't have direct linguistic translation to donuts and boxes, so they will have to think about the mathematical relationship, which is that there are actually 6 times as many donuts as there are boxes. So be brave, try it out, and let us know how it goes in the comments.